With this heat, many of us will be cranking up the air conditioning, but if you're renting a home or apartment and your air conditioning breaks, is it your responsibility to fix it or your landlord's? News 8's Jenna Webster verifies the laws in both Iowa and Illinois.
In a week like this, with the heat index reaching well into the triple digits, the last thing you want is for your air conditioning to break. So we wanted to verify, if you're a renter and your AC goes out, is your landlord required to fix it? For this question, we turned to attorney Patrick Bigsby with Iowa Legal Aid and Justin Hunter from Prairie State Legal Services. Let's start with renters in Iowa. Their landlords are not required to provide an air conditioning unit.
But if your unit does have one, then it is required to be in good and safe working order. So essentially, it has to be functional.
Bigsby says to let your landlord know it's broken right away. It's best to do that in writing. He also recommends contacting your city's housing inspection unit, but there's no required timeline for the landlord to fix it.
During a heat wave like we're experiencing, the longer you go without that, the less safe and habitable, the less use and enjoyment you're going to be getting out of that unit. So I would say it's really fact dependent as to kind of how quickly the landlord needs to act.
When it comes to Illinois, there's also no law landlords have to provide air conditioning. But Hunter says there are sometimes provisions in a lease that do. If that's the case and your AC breaks and your landlord refuses to fix the unit, you can go to court. But Hunter says the more difficult question is what happens if the lease doesn't have an AC requirement and it breaks. Quote, courts are split on this circumstance. Many courts would require the landlord to repair the AC. Either way, a renter in Illinois needs to put the repair request in writing and send it in the mail to the landlord. The landlord then has 14 days to make the repair. Hunter says if it's longer than 14 days, you can use up to half your rent or $500, whichever is less, to pay for the repair yourself. So we can verify, yes, if you live in Iowa, state code says landlords are responsible to fix your AC if it goes out. If you're in Illinois, well, that decision could come down to a judge. With your Verify, I'm Jenna Webster.
Iowa Legal Aid says to have a safety plan in place in case your AC goes out in dangerous heat like this. That means finding a place to cool off first, then tell your landlord about the problem.